Hello, Noodlings! Another episode for us to break down, get our teeth into, react to. Hello and welcome back to Clockwork and Noodles, the channel where Becca will give you her inner thoughts and probably share too many personal details, especially on this anime because this anime really does relate to me on a personal level. So hello and welcome back to another breakdown for Dress Up Darling. This is episode number 2. That was an amazing episode. I've got a lot of things I want to tell you guys. But before we get going, make sure we are subscribed. We have done it. We have hit 500 subscribers. I want to thank you guys so much for the support, the continued support, the subs. They all mean so much to me. We've got to get another 500 to hit my first ever target on YouTube. We are halfway there and I think we can do it. I believe in us. I think we can amass a load of noodlings together who share a passion for anime, and I think we can do this. So thank you guys so much. Onwards and upwards, but we are not going to give up. We are noodlings and we will make it through even the hardest and weakest broths out there. There is a Discord channel for you to get notified whenever videos drop on the channel. This is also a place where I will tell you of any delays. There is possibly a delay next week on episode 3 from me because I am going to be up north and I'm coming back on the Saturday. So you're likely to have the episode maybe. So there's a likelihood that it could be delayed, but I do think I am releasing a day late on these ones anyway. If anything, just continue as you are. You won't notice it. Let's break down episode 2 because episode 2 was actual comedy gold. There was a lot of really good things highlighted, and it also makes me want to talk about cosplay with you guys. Join in as I also share nuggets of gold from my experiences in the cosplay field. I have been cosplaying for over 12 years now, so there's a lot of bits and pieces I can talk about, especially in this episode in particular. The moments where we get to talk about the fandom as a whole, and sure, this is the eroge fandom, and technically it's in our sphere. It's still in our sphere. I think it still counts. Describing anime to a normie. All the anime tropes that make sense to us when we say trucken, you know what I'm talking about. You don't think I'm just talking about big rigs or anything. You know I'm talking about trucken, the bringer of the isekai characters. However, imagine telling your co-workers, your normie friends, about an anime, a show that centers around car crashes. Truck crashes, when the character has to die for the show to actually emerge and appear. You can imagine their faces, as that is, to us, normal. We are very normal with the ways of Trucken, although I do believe he must be stopped. He is a serial killer, and there will be an anime one day, all centered around Trucken. Mark my words. We can talk about Marin's love for manga. Well, eroge. Eroge, I knew it was eroge. I didn't want to mention it because I didn't technically mention it last week, but if you were not cluing in, Marin likes the slightly more naughty titles. We're not here to kink shame. We're going to say it right now, we are not going to kink shame nobody on this channel, but we might judge her silently inside. Although I think the anime to be judging at the moment is the sailor uniform, Akebi's sailor uniform. There's a lot of judging going on in that anime, and I didn't think that would be the one to actually get the raised eyebrow. This I didn't even raise an eyebrow. Because I'm so used to different types of people in the anime community, none of this made me bat an eyelid, and plus I'm a cosplayer. Many aware of the hentai stand. Very much aware of the hentai guy in London who I think was arrested at some point. I think he got arrested. I could be wrong. Allegedly, he was arrested for selling bootleg stuff. But I think the highlight of these episodes for me, it's Gojo's face. And I know I mentioned it before. Gojo's face is just so meme-worthy. It's his reactions because they are just perfect. I absolutely adore the way that he reacts. This face here is just me seeing a new anime with a new character voiced by Kenjiro Suda and just hoping, just one time, just this one rare chance that this time he's gonna be a good guy. He's not gonna die. He's not gonna be a murderer. Just this one time. Maybe one day that will happen. And sure, you can argue that he's a good guy in Id Invaded. It's just difficult, guys. It is so hard loving somebody who is a villain. He's always a villain. He's always playing a villain. And if you are watching my breakdowns for Sabako Bisco, he's definitely playing the villain in that one as well. No kink shaming. We are here to support Marin and her dream to become this playable, dateable character in this eroge game. In Slippery Girls, of course. Leaving nothing to the imagination there. I do find that as well with the hentai titles. They're very on the nose. They're very much there in your face. They're very unimaginative. I don't know, big booby girls from outer space comes and takes over the pizzeria. That is probably going to be a hentai. That's probably already a hentai. Gojo's face making this absolutely amazing, but it does come down to two characters who are just resonating over their love of their hobbies. And, you know, who cares about age restrictions when you're in love with wanting to cosplay a character who is wearing a maid outfit, and it's definitely going to get kinky at some point. I love it. These two just resonate so perfectly. And it's also the idea that to Gojo, it doesn't have to be about gender. It doesn't matter what gender you are. You can enjoy whatever you want. And that is initially what finally resonates with our character Gojo, who was put down by a childhood friend for being a boy who shouldn't be playing with dolls. I like it. You can imagine just how relieved it might be and how much of an enlightening moment for him that there's somebody out there who doesn't think he's weird and actually supports his hobby, supports what it is that he does. So the cosplay duo is born, and if you are not too familiar with the cosplay world, there are power couples out there who are lucky enough to find a partner who is also making cosplay or cosplays themselves. There's many a decent powerhouse out there. I am very jealous. There's many a competition I cannot enter because I simply do not have a partner. I often represent the UK in solo events because I can't do duo or group. But stalking for the win. Nothing is going to stand in the way of Marin becoming the character. And yes, we need some measurements. So it's a good tip for you guys if you are looking to go into cosplay. Get your measurements, because there is nothing worse than getting a costume made and waiting all that time for it to come from Japan or something, finding out that it just doesn't fit and you can't take it out, or it's too small and you just have not got the material to make it work, wasting your money, or having it too big and it's uncomfortable. You want your cosplay to be comfortable because you're going to be standing up in hot environments, crowded environments for 8 hours plus. Again, more fantastic reactions with our boy Gojo. At this point, he is so shocked, so embarrassed, so just awkward. He is reduced to nothing but line art. That's how you know you've gone through it. You've gone meta. He is turned back into the manga form. This anime is just, I am really enjoying the reactions, the banter between them. This anime, however, is going to be really difficult for me to keep this YouTube friendly. So I'm doing my best to avoid crotch shots and butt shots. I might just put a funny picture in the way of the butt. Maybe just me. That's my anime avatar in her butt. There we go. But I really do love Gojo. And during this sequence, when he ends up slapping his face, telling him to, get a grip. This is what we're doing. You got to take it seriously. That is probably the moment I actually really started to support him, really, really go for it. Really like it because it's also the one anime where those slap marks are actually not inflicted by the other party, but him and himself. Looks painful. I enjoy the way that these two characters are bouncing off one another. She's very extrovert, whilst he's a bit more introverted. They balance each other quite nicely. She's all confident with her body, which you will find a lot of cosplayers. There are people who are not confident, but there's a lot of cosplayers out there who cosplay because they want to feel good about themselves, and cosplay makes you feel empowered. There's a lot of people who will cosplay certain costumes because it empowers them and it makes them feel very body positive. And I am very much for body positivity in anime and in the cosplay communities. I am very supportive and I love the way that she is. She is a breath of fresh air, I can tell you that. But yes, camera angles making my job quite difficult when it comes to getting snapshots. And of course, I think as Mother's Basement put it, the horny is very strong with this anime. I would say the horny is very strong, but it's being done in a not so horny, perverted way as many anime out there, which kind of loses my interest quite quickly. This has been done in a way that is funny. It's being played for laughs. It is hilariously funny. I also think it's been handled pretty maturely. However, I would like to admit that this girl would 100% already know her bust size. Why? Because you are wearing a bikini, and if you are a guy or you don't really know much about women's clothing in just general, we have to know our bust size to get a bikini to fit. So if you are going to buy one, if you know your bust size already. She definitely already owns bras as well. She's at the period where she's definitely wearing bras. She knows her bust size. There is no need for her to actually go to these lengths. And the next bit when she goes bust point, I have never needed this. I have never needed my bust point in any of my costumes. Most of the time, you just know your bust, you know your bra size, and that covers you. Slightly unneeded measurement on this one here. Also noted that when he was measuring her, the tape actually only went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then it repeated itself over and over again. You need to get a refund, my friend. That measuring tape is going to let you write down. I recently had a ruler that I have used since school, like it's like a decade old, and it's so faded now that I had to get another ruler and get a Sharpie to mark in all the marks, just so I didn't have to buy another ruler. I technically have 2 rulers, but I like using this one because it's actually a good material to get a nice straight line. Weird things like this, guys, that I'm happy to tell you as we break these animes down. But it really is just a mockery of the anime virgin trope. All the way through this entire scene, in my head just screaming, this girl could measure herself. I have measured my head before on my own. I have measured my outer arm on my own. To be fair, I do most of my cosplay work on my own, and I have done many of... 100% she could have done this herself, but of course, if she had done this herself, we would have been deprived of a fantastic sequence like this. So from nipple placement, getting really up and close and personal, it happens to be the inner leg that ends up breaking her confidence, despite the fact that he actually didn't touch her. That is eventually when we hit her vulnerable points. It's the first time I think we've seen her acting vulnerable, which is nice. Seeing her embarrassed, knowing that her ears go red on the tips, a nice little detail. Seeing a few people who do get embarrassed and the tips of their ears go red. Me personally, they don't go red. That's probably a good thing because you won't know if I'm embarrassed. I think something like your ears actually giving away half the game. Sucks to be you, but your body wants people to know that you're embarrassed. I like the fact that my body is a bit more, we'll keep it quiet. Nobody needs to know this. Okay, let's hit another cosplay point. My number one cosplay problem, most bane of the cosplayers out there, references. There are too many anime characters, too many game characters out there in which there is not a back reference, and most judges, if you want to go competitive, need that back reference, because if you don't go in with a back reference and you've got a costume which is weird at the back and you've created a few choices, they can't mark you on something they can't see. So something to bear in mind if you want to get into cosplay and competitiveness. Another problem will be that the colour will shift from frame to frame. My advice to you, if you are going to competitive or you want to find some decent references, pick one and you keep their colour in that one. So you use one as your main reference, and then if you have to use other references for shapes or intricate details, then use them and just state, this is my main one I'm going for, this is the colour scheme. This is my biggest problem in my hobby, and it's something I have dealt with for over 12 years. I've recently picked a new anime character that I am working on for the next year. It's intricate, and I have literally had to do, I think, about 2 hours worth of hunting down decent references and getting my references sorted before I even begin. So you want to make sure that references and measurements really are the first things you want to get right. Ending on the scene, Gramps is finally probably walking in for the first time of his teenage boy, being a teenage boy. Gojo doesn't strike me as the boy who is likely to get caught by a grandpa or anybody walking in on him because he's quite introverted. This is probably definitely the first time he's been caught, but I just love the scene being played as it is because he obviously isn't watching it for the reason most people watch it. He's actually watching it to take notes to make sure that he gets ideas on the costume. To his grandpa, he is the most diligent hentai watcher on the planet because he's making notes and he's very serious about it. Fantastic ending. Really enjoyed it. I am really enjoying this anime. It's only 2 episodes in, but it's definitely right up there at the moment. Really enjoying it, getting some great laughs out of it. It's also great that I get to talk about my other love, cosplay, with you guys and share some information. The anime, the fact that it's actually touching on a lot of things that feel familiar and real for me as a cosplayer, means the anime's doing it right. Obviously, Japan is home to cosplay, so it would strike me weird if the anime was off on details, especially on cosplay, because Japan is the motherland of cosplay. But fantastic anime, really liking. I'm liking the way that they're handling the relationships between the 2 characters. I'm rooting for both. I actually like both characters, which is quite rare. If there's ever a rom-com, a lot of the time I will dislike a certain character of the pair, or both pairs will come across as irritating. If you were watching Senpai is Annoying last season, I actually rooted 100% for the backing couple, the couple in the office as well, so much more than the actual main partnership. And to be fair, they don't even get together. It's actually the other 2 who do. I was rooting for those guys so much because I love both those characters so much. And that's often the way with me. There's a lot of times when animes will focus on 2 characters who eventually you see get together, but one of them will irritate me. I love these two characters to pieces. I really hope that they can come together at the end. And even if it is romantic as well, I think they suit each other very well. They balance each other. She brings out that wild side, that confidence, and she has that bundles of energy. Whilst he's actually going to teach her hands-on skills to be more accurate, he has the skills that she needs to do the thing that she loves. And she is bringing a lot of colour into his life. Really loving it. I really hope you guys are taking care of yourselves. I hope that my videos can bring a tiny wee bit of colour to your life, even if it is just 20 minutes of a day. Thank you guys so much for making 500 possible. Here's to the next 500, and we're going to become even more noodles. We're going to be the biggest noodle bowl there is out there. Have a good day, guys. Bye-bye.